Welcome back to The Price of Business. I am your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. Going to spend some time with a regular Price of Business contributor, Tom Taormina, and he's with Apollo Business Solutions. His website is oresonance.com. That's oresonance.com. And Tom, delighted to be with you. Really excited. I don't want to announce anything yet, but I'm excited about the fact that you and I apparently are going to be doing a series of extensive interviews with our astronaut friend that we chatted with last week.
Top of the morning, Kevin. Yes, I'm delighted about that. It's really, really good to get the newer astronauts, especially the ones who are as passionate as he is. The future of our country depends on us listening to him.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell us a little bit about your company, and let's get to our topic at hand, which is always a very timely one.
I spent 14 years at Mission Control in Houston and spent the last 45 years trying to figure out why the rest of the world and the companies that I work with haven't got the same motivation towards excellence. So my time is spent helping business leaders be the best that they can, and maybe we'll go to Mars or somewhere soon.
We certainly should be able to by now, don't you think?
I think so.
I always wonder, why haven't we already got something, like something permanent up there? Forget about visiting still. Tell us about your topic at hand today.
Well, one of my favorite things to do with clients is to ask them a simple question. How do you define the word quality? What does quality mean to you? Is it excellence? Is it goodness? Is it meeting spec? And that usually begins a fairly lengthy process of introspection where I've never really thought about that. Well, if you've never really thought about that, how can you communicate your definition of quality to the people who work for you?
Yeah, that's a good point. I would say quality, isn't that kind of a subjective based on what you're doing and what the expectations are?
Well, as a quality control engineer, quote unquote, the definitions are almost endless, and the point of the discussion is to have business owner whose personality is the business in most cases define that word. We do it in the context of vision, mission, and values, but if you haven't defined in your products or in your service what quality means, it's really almost impossible to have your people meet your expectations.
Isn't that true? And you'll hear managers and owners go on and on about the importance of quality, but they're leaving it entirely up to the employee to define what that is. For the couch potato who likes to sit around at home and do nothing but watch TV, quality may be how funny a sitcom is, but how does that work in my engineering field? So that's really an important concept. I guess that goes back to creating mission statements and other ideas that you want to emulate.
Well, too often mission statements are written by the marketing department, not the person that's in charge. So
yes.
We propagate some phony baloney words to try and impress the customers on the website. What it should be used for is the people that are doing the work. One of my favorite examples, I learned this years ago from the book The Nordstrom Way. At Nordstrom's department store, the sales clerks were empowered, and that's the right use of the word for a change, to deal with whatever the client needed. If the client needed a certain shirt, you didn't have it in stock, you went down the stairs in the mall or in the next building, you got the shirt and you handed it to the client and said, sorry, we inconvenienced you by not having it in stock. Now, that was a very carefully orchestrated set of values and a set of definition of quality that was brilliant. But are your employees allowed to do that? If you go to Jiffy Lube and you don't like what they did, would they give you a new car?
Yeah, that's an interesting concept. But that aside, by the way, it's just reflective of more important core values. Why I like to go there is an indication of their core values, isn't it?
Holy cow, core values, what a concept. How many of us sit down and look at our core values and look at how we influence the people around us with what we do, with behavior? There was a Southern humorist, Brother Dave Garner. He said, you don't have to watch what you do, you just have to watch what you think.
Yeah, because as a man thinketh, so is he.
So how do we do that? How do we define quality both in our lives, and your example of the couch potato is not a bad example. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be food you eat. What is quality? To some people, it would be vegan diet, eating seaweed, and to someone else, it would be a really nice 6-inch thick porterhouse steak. I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, me too. I got a little wait before lunch, buddy. Wait a minute now. You got to slow that down. So when it comes to defining and develop these things, how should an organization go about doing this?
The best way to do it is with help. I do retreats all the time where we lock ourselves up for 2 or 3 days, and just to get to a vision statement, because most business people have grown their business pragmatically. They brought people in who've influenced the personality of the company. As they get bigger, they have informal organizations that do run things behind the scenes that they don't even know about. The best way to do it is to take the senior trusted people of your company and to turn off the cell phones, get in a cabin somewhere, and start with what are the fundamentals of our business? What do we do? In my case, I provide services to help companies be the best they can be. And be the best they can be was been developed over many, many years, because you have to define what best is for you, just like defining quality. What's Kevin's best? Is this all there is, Kevin, or is there more?
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I think it makes so much sense. And so it's one of the things you talk about a lot is that people are usually too caught up working for their business to be able to work on their business. They're too close to their business to be able to bring that objectivity that's so necessary to continue to help a business grow and to become more healthy. And you help with that as well. Give your website before we let you go.
It's soulresonance.com, and current book, of course, it was Rocket Science.
Yeah, it was Rocket Science, and it's a great book, much reading, and it's incredible, reader-friendly, yet extremely smart, and I appreciate it so much. Looking forward to our upcoming series, plus much, much more with my friend Tom Taormina, and make sure you learn more about him at his website. Thanks so much, Tom.
Great day, Kevin.
You too. When we come back, more for you right here on The Price of Business.